So thank you for everyone who's on live and watching the recording. Just a quick summary of who I am. I know every month for the last year, I've been hosting these events on Facebook, and I get people every month that have never heard of me, but somehow they see it and hop on. So I have been a coach now for 7 years. I started my journey. I had no idea, honestly, what I was getting into. I was just in a really low place. I plugged into the community. I plugged into a, a fit workout program, nutrition, and it changed everything for me as a mom. Especially I was postpartum depression. It really just brought me back to life and believing that I could change, that things could get better. And yeah, that's is pretty quickly after that I decided I wanted to create my own community. And through that whole journey, God definitely came into that and brought me out of a harder spot spiritually as well. And he's blessed me more than I deserve. I just keep really working hard at this because I really am passionate about helping other women just believe in themselves and make positive changes and feel better in their skin. And I know some of you are people of coaches on my team. Lots of times we run groups together, like this next Food Freedom Academy. A lot of us will be running together. So hopefully you like me too, because you'll see a lot of me. And honestly, it's just, again, the community aspect has been huge for a lot of us. Because just life and motherhood and just the pace that this world goes in, it's easy to feel like you're alone in a struggle. And you're not. You never are. So anyways, I am going to quick just lead us in a prayer, especially in the Food Freedom Academy. I bring faith into it a lot because I think, well, I wasn't planning, but I mean, the Bible talks about food a lot. Jesus was tempted by food, right? Like, I don't think that's a coincidence. And I think he knew that it was going to be a big piece of our lives and our mindset and our confidence and our energies. So I really think involving him is huge in it. So anyways, just please bear with me. Dear God, I want to pray over this group of ladies and over this call today. Only you know our relationship with food, the past and the struggles. I know for a lot of us, it's not the best, and it can cause a lot of emotions, a lot of hurt, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. And I know first and foremost, you want us all to know that we are loved. No matter what, I pray that truth is near to our heart. But I also know that you want us to be free. You want us to be free of the guilt and the shame. You want us to be free of this constant battle. You want us to feel good in our skin. You want us to love ourselves for exactly how you've made us. I know you want us to be free of the weight, not just the physical weight, but the weight of the struggle, the mental and emotional struggle. It's so many of us have it on a daily basis. And I pray that you show up with us in these struggles. I know so often we go to food for things that you want us to go for you for. And I pray that we make that a habit, that we go to you instead. And that you show us and that you show up and you show us in the small and big ways, things that we can and should do to help repair our relationship with food. I pray that you show us those next steps, that you just make that clear to us so that we can start repairing this relationship. I pray this group knows that they are loved and never judged by you or by anyone else. And dear God, thank you for your love and your grace and for bringing us together. So we are assured that we're never alone in this or any struggle. Amen. All right. Next, also, I know this is more like food focused, but a lot of us are in the habit of working out every day. So hopefully those that are on this call are expecting that. So I'm going to push play on a very short, no excuses version of our newest weightlifting program. It's all strength training, no jumping, no impact, nothing like that. And just for a little blip, I would say if you are looking to get healthy, exercise doesn't have to be part of it, especially if it's not an option for you. There's lots of people for different reasons you can't. Totally possible to make progress without it. But for those who are able to exercise, I cannot say enough about weight training, strength training. I know a lot of women are worried about getting bulky, but first off, that's more genetic than anything else or supplement based if you are getting bulky. Secondly, especially women, especially aging women, strength training is really where you're going to be able to boost your metabolism all day and not just in the moment of when you're exercising, and just feel stronger, and your posture will get better, and all things get better when you're able to handle your weight plus some, right? So here, let me see if I can share my screen. All right, Rachel or Abby, I can see you. Can you give me a thumbs up when you can see my screen? Yes, okay. We are going to do that. I've never done this one before, so I'm excited. I did legs yesterday. I'm a little worried about the glutes part, but let's finish play on the no excuses, abs and glutes. Oh shoot, I have to stop. Or it's gonna get I have to stop the recording, otherwise it's gonna yell at me later that I can't upload it. That was close. All right. Now I'm gonna dig more into nutrition. And oh goodness, this is something, if you know me, I could talk for hours on, but I promise I have notes here to make sure I stay pretty focused on topic. I'm just gonna walk through my, I think I have 4-ish tips on nutrition. And then I'll kind of talk a little bit about the Food Freedom Academy at the end. But hopefully, no matter what, whether you join us or not, for the Food Freedom Academy, hopefully you have something to take away from this that'll be helpful for you. The first main thing that you'll hear me say a lot is like, don't do it on your own, especially with nutrition. It's really easy for us to, like I said, feel alone in the struggle, get stuck in ruts, not have ideas, and just beat ourselves up. And think it's not possible. I think the biggest part for me was when I was put in a community of women, I saw both their healthy foods and they shared when they didn't. And I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, like they look amazing and they're not perfect. And I want everyone to know that that's possible. Like you can totally make progress, a lot of progress without being perfect. And I think that is that awareness allows you to give yourself the grace you need to keep going every day, because none of us are perfect. No matter what they look like, they're not perfect either, right? So just hopefully that gives you some peace and some grace, because more than anything, you need that on your nutrition journey, because it's the only way you're going to keep going. All right, and I will say in the Food Freedom Academy, I do have the expectation that whoever joins shares their food. And I know that can be scary. It doesn't have to be time consuming. I know we're all busy. So it's like you can do just a list, you can do pictures, you can do it all at the end of the day, whatever it is. But the reason why I do that, and I don't do that in all my groups, but in the Food Freedom Academy, I do, because I found that once I actually was writing it down or knew that I was going to share it with someone, I was way more aware and accountable of my food choices. It's not about obsession. I will never be about obsession, but I am about really taking personal responsibility and being aware of what you eat and why. The why you're eating is a huge thing too. So, and benefit of that in the Food Freedom Academy is that you'll see everyone will be sharing their foods. You'll be like, hey, what recipe is that? Oh, did your family actually like that? Like, I know a huge thing in my in the programs and stuff is people having a hard time finding like family friendly recipes and stuff. Well, here in this group, you'll see what people are actually feeding their family. And like for me, I've never made separate meals for myself for dinner. Like dinner has always been all of us together. So, all right. Second thing, and this one is big. Fuel. You need to eat. You need to eat probably more than what you are. Again, especially when I run these food focused groups and people start sharing their foods, when people think I'm being healthy, lots of times they just eat less, way too little. And that's one thing I love about like our programs. It actually teaches you all the food you should eat. And a lot of people are shocked that like they'll come into my groups or my programs being like, I'm frustrated. I've been at a plateau. I can't lose any weight. And then I'll encourage them to eat more healthy foods, but I'll encourage them to eat more. And they'll message me like a couple weeks later being like, oh my gosh, I'm eating more and I finally lost more weight. And I know it's hard to wrap our head around that fact, but especially as women, especially as we age, you need to fully fuel your body. I have a whole nother call where I went into detail about our hormones and our adrenals and why that's the case, why we can't just eat less and expect our body to like get rid of the excess weight. It'll hold on to it. Again, especially as we age. So important to eat enough. Like for instance, if you're eating 1,500 calories or less, it's not enough. If you're eating like less than 5 servings of protein, so at least a serving of protein, almost like a cup of protein every single meal and snack, you're not eating enough. Like if you're not having at least like 5 to 6 cups of vegetables throughout the day, you're not eating enough. And I know I hated vegetables coming, so I understand what that is like too. I didn't necessarily like meat or anything else. But you learn, you find things that you actually do like. You find, again, we're all normal people. We've all been there. Like my previous nutrition was pizzas and chicken nugget meals and like not joking. And Mountain Dews, like that's where I came from. So like wherever you're at, just know that there are ways to eat healthier that aren't tasteless and like you're just waiting for the days to be done. Because one thing about eating enough is when you actually eat enough, you start to feel really good. Like you start to have energy all day that you didn't think was possible. You start to like have regularity even when you're traveling. You like your cravings start going down because lots of times cravings are actually your body not having the nutrients that it needs. So once you're giving it all the nutrients it needs, you're not craving junk like to the point where you can't resist it every night. And that's what helps it stick. When you actually feel really good eating a lot of healthy food, you want to keep feeling good. Now, I will say none of us are perfect. We've all had our ups and downs, but that's just one huge benefit. Because I remember before these programs, when I would try to eat healthy, I would have like lean cuisines and salads, mostly lettuce. And like by the end of a day of eating healthy, I was like hungry at night and I never made good choices at night. So if you're in that cycle, like I can't encourage you enough to eat more healthy foods earlier on in the day. So you're not hungry and just susceptible to all those cravings and stuff at night. All right. Oh, and a little caveat in that I talk a lot about hormones lately because in the last 6 months I've gotten hormone sync certified. And again, as women, we are made generally the same, right? In the fact that we are different than men and we can't just eat less and work out more and expect to lose weight. That's not how our bodies work. But I will say that if you are someone who like legit thinks your hormones aren't working normally, that is definitely possible too. And I wanted to just offer up that I do have like a certified doctor and a hormone expert that I can refer you to that can actually help you do like virtual testing and consults just to make sure your hormones are actually working how they should. So know that that's available too. All right. The other thing that I've talked on a little bit is mindset and positive self-talk. And I know I've talked a little bit about it already, so I won't hit it over the head anymore. But I know before starting, I had this habit of, like I said, like eating super healthy for a few meals, and then it would all fall off the track, and then I would like throw out the towel till like the next week or the next month. And a huge mindset shift for me was getting the awareness of what because oftentimes for me it was sugar. So it was like bags of M&Ms or chocolate or whatever it was. Really coming around and finding out the science behind that and it's a fact, look it up, that sugar, especially refined sugar, triggers the same part of your brain and the same intensity to your brain as illegal drugs. It sounds like dramatic, but it's actually true. That is why that's why so many people say like, if I have one, like I can't stop myself. That's why, because it literally was scientifically made to trigger that part of your brain to make you want more, to make you not even realize that you are full. So you will keep eating. And that awareness honestly made me really mad. I didn't realize that like M&M manufacturers and Cheetos and all of those were literally making their food to be irresistible and making me eat more and more of it. And that made me realize that I think a lot of times we like diminish it and be like, it's not a big deal. I can control myself, like, or it's my fault. Like a lot of times we blame ourselves, like I should just be able to have one. And at some point I'm like, no, like I have to stop like putting my hand in the candy jar at all if I want to stop this. I'm not saying you have to go cold turkey, but I did for a while. I can control, it's still a slippery slope, but I can control myself now, 7 years in, more than I could before. But I went cold turkey for probably a couple months and I was shocked by, again, how much better I felt and how it got easier and easier to say no because I realized how good I felt without it. And it all started with that awareness of like, it's not my fault that I can't stop. It's made that way, right? So often we put the blame on ourselves, but at some point you have to say like, no, that food was created that way. And I can't keep blaming myself for not stopping. I have to just not start. And another part of that too is I wasn't going to go into this, but like if you do the research on the colors that they're often using in that candy and the fake flavors and all of that, like a lot of them are linked to be cancer causing. And like still to this day, as a mom, I struggle with that because I still like want to give my kids, have them have normal childhoods because I don't want them to like um I've seen that kind of backfire if parents don't give their kids any food, they kind of eat too much and all the things. But anyways, in my own personal journey, it really, again, made me, I think society, especially marketing, wants us to feel like it's not a big deal. Like, why aren't you, blah, blah, just like drinking. It's the same thing, like, oh, why not? And at some point you have to come to facts and terms that like people are getting cancer at earlier and earlier ages. And people are getting like life altering diseases, diabetes and all of that at earlier and earlier ages. And food sensitivities and allergies. And I can't state it on a science fact, but there are a lot of studies that tell us it's the food that we're eating. And again, those awarenesses help us really come to terms with these foods. And I think that knowledge is necessary because otherwise it's, again, just so easy to brush it under the rug and say it's not a big deal. And it's easier and it feels better to just say it's not a big deal. But when we realize it is, that it's impacting our energy every single day, that it's affecting our kids' attention spans every single day, that it's affecting our cravings the next day. Like once we start putting those things together, it makes it a little easier for us to realize, no, I really want and need to do something about this. That was a big long rant. I wasn't planning on but there you have it. There you have it. And this one also I get nervous sharing about. But as I mentioned before my prayer, I really think, especially in Christian circles, food and weight struggles are something that we can easily dismiss by saying, there's bigger things in life, like God cares about our heart and our soul, not what our body looks like, and all of those things are true. But I think we also have to come to terms with like how much our mind and our confidence and our energy is thinking about food and beating ourselves up about food. And like this struggle, if it's a struggle for you, I fully feel like if it's a struggle for you and it's like consuming your thoughts and the feelings that you have about yourself, then he cares about that too. And it's not something that we should just dismiss. Like, he cares about our body because they are a temple. And if we get, life altering diabetes or something down the road, or we don't have the energy and confidence to do what he's asking us to do, then that matters. And I think until we really come to terms with, like, if this bothers me and this is a struggle for me and this is consuming my thoughts and this is holding me back from doing things that he's asking me to do, then this is very important. And as well as for me, and maybe for you too, a lot of us emotionally eat. And maybe we don't realize that's what we're doing. But like, if you sit down, watch TV and you eat, or you find yourself procrastinating, so you find yourself in the kitchen and you eat, or you find yourself sad, and you eat, celebrate and you eat. Like, I think our society often helps us in this fact too, that like, if you're frustrated, if you're sad, if you're happy, if you're feeling anything, like, let's eat. It amplifies things, right? Because again, it's triggering that piece of your brain that does actually make you feel better. Like, if you're sad, your brain will get triggered and make you think that you feel better, but it's so temporary. And again, I think that the awareness that it's temporary and the awareness of what you're actually doing and why is huge in helping you realize, like, I need to do something else with this feeling than eating. I need to do something else with this feeling than eating to fix it. And again, I am not perfect. I'm not trying to preach here. I have good, bad days, weeks, months, years, but truthfully, it's again, not sweeping under the rug and not acting like it has nothing to do with my spiritual life. The powerful part is being like, okay, I'm feeling this way, and instead of eating, I think I should pray about it. I think I should read something. I think I should get myself busy doing something else, and just bringing that to him. I think once you start involving him into it, food is a 24/7 temptation. It really is. It's like one of the only things in your healthy living journey that you can't just like be done with it, right? Like, you can't just conquer it and you're good now. Like, food will be there all the time, especially in our society. And so I think once you actually see it, not just as a physical battle, but also a spiritual battle, in a way that you can actually strengthen your spiritual relationship too, if you lean into that aspect of it, it's amazing what he can help you do and what he can help you realize as you're involving him instead of just numbing things. All right. Oh, I think I got everything. Woo! Look at me, under an hour. I went all over the board. I had all my notes all written out nicely, and I kind of went everywhere. But I hit the high points. So like I mentioned, in the Food Freedom Academy, I ask everyone to share in the daily posts their food. And again, it's not for obsession. It's really for your own awareness and your own accountability, and to share ideas with everyone. As well as in the Food Freedom Academy, it's one of the rare groups that I run that I'm not focused on a specific, we have different nutrition programs in our library, and I'm not like focused on one telling you this is how you eat. It's more of a group where, again, I'm sharing facts around food. I'm having a sugar detox after Valentine's Day, so I'll definitely be talking more about how our food is made, about how to reduce sugar, what it's actually doing to your brain, all of that, because I do think that awareness is so helpful in actually making changes. I'll also be talking a lot about the faith aspect, about cravings, about just so much of what I've made progress in is involving him in that part of my life. So a good chunk will be about that. I'll also be talking about more about the hormone healthy aspect of it, and about, as we age, how much we really do need to eat. And again, I'm not going to be like forcing you to do a certain program a certain way, but just giving you that knowledge, so you can walk away with it empowered to know how much you really need to be eating to start feeling energized and losing the weight, and just getting stronger and more empowered. I think that's about it. But yeah, it's a lot. Honestly, in 3 weeks, I've already been like, oh, I could do months of just sharing on nutrition, but I'm really trying to hit all the high points, but getting in enough detail that you really feel empowered by the information that I'm sharing. And that'll forever change how you look at food. Because I think a lot of these facts, you won't look at food in the same way, and that helps you make different choices. So, if you're a customer or a client of mine already, you should have gotten a Google form. And if you fill out that Google form, I'll make sure to get you plugged in. We kick off Monday. I will be adding people through that first week. So if you're a little late watching this recording or whatever, like I'll still be adding people for that first week throughout the week of Valentine's Day. And then, can you believe it's almost Valentine's Day? My brain is like exploding. If you aren't a customer or coach of mine, or you're of one of my teammates, like reach out to them. I also have a full email that kind of gives you the basics of this group and some different ways that you can opt in to join. So just reach out. But either way, I hope this call and what I've shared is helpful for you in your journey. And only wish you the best. And thank you again for everyone who hopped on live. Seeing your smiling faces helps more than you know. So hope you have a good weekend. All right. Bye.